Welcome back, guys. Japanime here once again, and today we're talking this week's episode of Doubutsu Sentai Zyuohger. Not a lot really happened in this episode. The big thing that happened, I feel, or one of two big things, was revealed in last week's trailer for this week's episode, and then the other big thing that was revealed, I'm not going to say it here, but the whole thing with the Zald, which we'll talk about in a little bit, that was revealed in some scans from Telebikun magazine, I believe was the name of the magazine, but yeah, we already went over that in a news video. Now again, I'm not going to say the specifics because I know some people don't want spoilers, but we will talk about what happened with Cube Whale and Kubar. Basically, it's the Christmas episode, and like most Christmas episodes, usually it's very silly. Now, like I said, we talked about X-Aid yesterday. X-Aid started out silly, but then got very serious. Zyuohger started out silly, and then continued silly. But you know what? There's some interesting stuff going on here, and by interesting, I mean not terrible. So there's that. I'm not going to lie to you guys when I say that my standards for Zyuohger are pretty low at this point. I like the monster. I think he's a neat monster. I like that he can paint on the walls and summon a bunch of stuff. He wasn't really much deeper than that. Like I said, we're starting to get into Kubar's arc. We're starting to get into Azald's arc, excuse me. Azald is, we see that he's not really too concerned in the beginning of this episode. He's like, there's no Kubar around. I got this blood game wrapped up. And Genesis is like, hey, that's not how the blood game works. It's whoever entertains me the most. Kubar entertained me by being a traitorous piece of crap. So if you can't entertain me as much as he did when he tried to rebel, you can still lose to the dead guy. So Azald is like, all right, I need to step my game up. So again, he brings out a monster, and the monster's really not going to do much except be a generic monster for the week. The Zyuohgers are going to learn about Christmas, obviously being from Jewland, they don't necessarily celebrate Christmas. I also like, too, in Yamato's explanation of what Christmas is, they actually went the religious route, which I was not expecting. He said it's the birthday of a very important man. I thought his explanation, they would go the Santa route, which is a little bit more all-encompassing, not having necessarily as strong of religious ties. I'm actually kind of surprised they went with that. I just thought I'd throw that out there. He went the Jesus route with his explanation for Christmas. It caught me a little off guard. But he explains generally what Christmas is, and Mondo, we see, brings a gift to Mario because I guess Mario covered the hospital bills for him, so he wanted to show some appreciation. Once they find out about Christmas and they see what Mondo did, the Zyuohgers decided, well, we want to do the same thing. We've been living in his house. He's been so kind to us. We want to do something nice for him. They go find this sweater that they're going to purchase for him, but they are woefully underfunded. So the Zyuohgers need to figure out a new plan, either a new gift or find a way to make money. Now, we see in this first fight with the monster that he has the ability to paint things, as I already said, and make them come to life. The first fight was pretty cool, but we see where we're going to get into the general idea of this week's episode. We see that he covered up this pastry storefront to look like really crappy. I'm not really sure what it was supposed to be, but it looks really crappy now. And again, that's a good thing for the monster because now he's causing problems for the store owner. Nobody's going into the bakery because they don't know it's a bakery. And we're going to see that the Zyuohgers offer to sell his pastries. They'll take them outside of the shop somewhere a little bit nicer, because again, his storefront looks like crap now. They'll take them out, and for a fee, of course, they're going to sell the cakes for him. And they do that to attract attention. They go into their Jew-man forms, and everybody obviously thinks it's fake, it's a costume. But we see them drumming up a lot of business, and they actually end up making quite the nice little sum of money for a quick day's work. And Yamato has this nice moment where he looks at them and he's like, this is how it should be. Humans and Jew-men. There's no fear, there's no nothing. In fairness, they think it's people in costumes. They don't realize that they are actually humanoid animals. So again, if they actually knew, it probably would cause a little bit more chaos. It would not be as calm of a scene, but he sees how they're interacting with the humans and he realizes this is how it should be. Again, we know about this awful past that Jewland has. They don't like humans, and I guess, we can assume that humans are not that acceptable. Well, we've actually seen with Larry that humans are not super accepting of Jewmen. So again, he sees how it should be, this peaceful way that it should be. The Zyuohgers are going to eventually, like I said, earn their paycheck, and they go to purchase the sweater, but they forgot about the tax. I've made that mistake many a time as a child. So the Zyuohgers now don't have enough for their present, but Yamato is going to show up, and now that he figures out their game, he decides to front them the rest of the money because, of course, it's for his uncle, who he very much cares about, and on top of that, his uncle has done a lot for him too. So paying the sales tax on a sweater is really the least he can do. They buy the sweater, and again, in a crazy, unnecessary turn of events, this is the one part of the episode, unless they do something with it next week, I'm not sure, but all of a sudden, out of nowhere, Mario's going to Canada because his friend has something for him to potentially purchase. And look, I was just so dumbfounded when he said, sorry, I can't stay to celebrate Christmas, I'm going to Canada. I was just so, like, drawn back. I kind of missed the subtitles as to why he was going to Canada. And quite frankly, I don't care why he was going to Canada. What? Like, why did we have to, again, unless it's relevant in next week's episode that Mario is gone, which we'll talk a little bit about next week's preview at the end of this video, I don't see why. Like, I get the writers had to get Mario out of the house to see that his son, or, nephew, is Zyuohger. But why did it have to be a trip to Canada? I feel like that whole ending could have been written a lot better. That whole thing with Mario could have been written a lot better. But bottom line is, he's got to go to Canada. So it's funny to say. I don't know why it's funny to say. It's such a ridiculous thrown-in premise. But anyway, again, it's just an excuse to get Mario out of the house and to get the Zyuohgers to try to hurry back to the house so they can give it to him before he goes away on his trip. Of course, they're going to get interrupted by the Monster of the Week and Isolde, actually, because he wants to get in there and really excite things so that way Genis will be pleased and he will win the blood game. We see them start to fight, and we basically, everything is revealed to Mario. He sees Yamato and all Yamato's friends on the ground, and he's like, I need to help them out. He thinks they're defenseless. He doesn't realize what's going on. He sees them turn into and then he sees them turn into the Zyuohgers, and he is just dumbfounded, which, again, I'm glad Mario finally found out, but this seems like a plot point that should have been wrapped up a long time ago, because we're seeing him look back to all these scenes from, like, episode 2 and episode 12 and but I don't know if those are the exact numbers, but early on episodes is my point, and there's just been such a gap in this storyline that it's a little bothersome, but bottom line is he sees this, and then we don't see him for the rest of the episode. We're not sure if he got on his plane. I think we're supposed to assume he got on his plane, but we don't actually see him for the rest of this episode, which is a little bit disappointing because I would have liked to see like a follow-up reaction on him. Now, we do see him in next week's episode, so I'm not sure how much time has passed. Like I said, maybe he didn't go to Canada, maybe he did, but he's not there for the Christmas party at the very end, so I think we're supposed to assume he went to Canada. Of course, they're going to defeat the monster, and Nari is going to come down and put a coin in him and make him grow. I just thought of this in this episode. I don't know why. After, what, 40, I don't know what number episode this is off the top of my head, 40-something episodes, I just thought of this. When they see Naria drop down from the sky and walk towards the monster with a coin in her hand, does anybody think to go, hey, maybe we should not let her do that? Like, let's kick her or something so she can't put the coin in the slot. Like, let's not do the whole Megazord. You know what I mean? Like, in a series like Dino Charge, for example, you know, the bad guys shoot a beam from their home base. There's nothing they can do to stop the Magna beam, so of course, at the end of every episode, the monster grows. But in something like Kyoryuger, where like Lucky Ro comes over and sprays the water, or in a season like Zyuohger where Naria comes over and puts a coin in, well, I don't get why they just don't kick Lucky Ro or Naria right in the teeth and go, yeah, no, not today. Like it's Christmas. We're not doing this shit on Christmas. I don't know why something like that doesn't happen. I don't know why it just dawned on me, you know, 40-something episodes in. But anyway, funny thought I had. Anyway, moving on. The Zyuohgers are going to be overwhelmed in Wild Tosai King, which is kind of BS, because nothing about this monster or what he did feels like it should have overwhelmed that form. Nothing about this monster really seemed all that powerful. But basically, they're getting overwhelmed as an excuse for Yamato on the ground fighting Isolde to summon Cube Whale. He throws out Cube Whale, and Cube Whale is going to look at Isolde and get mad and attack Isolde. Now, again, I'm not gonna spoil it because I know what the big surprise is. Some of you do too. I talked about it in, I think it was my last news video or the news video before. We know why he's attacking Isolde, but again, for some people who don't want spoilers, I won't say it here. But it does beg the question for those of us who don't already know the answer. Why is Cube Whale attacking Isolde? And is this really, like, if he has some vendetta against Isolde for some reason, is it really the first time Cube Whale's seen Isolde? Like, he's never seen him before to attack him before. But bottom line is Cube Whale has something against Isolde, which we will talk about at the end of this video. Actually, that's basically it. This is your spoiler warning, because we're going to talk about the Isolde thing as well as the previews for next week's episode. But that's really how this episode wraps up. They miss Mario. They don't get to give him his present, and they have the they have the Christmas party anyway. So, I mean, it was an okay episode at best. It was a little bogged down by silliness, but I don't know, maybe because I'm in the Christmas spirit, I have a little bit of a soft spot for this episode. I'm not gonna say it's amazing, but it was sweet. It was nice to see them work so hard to try to get a gift for somebody who's been doing so many nice things for them. So I'm also happy Mario finally knows the secret. So I can't say I hated this episode, but I can't objectively say it was an amazing episode. But anyway, here's your spoiler warning right now, because now we're going to talk next week's episode and again the Isolde stuff. Okay, so as we talked about from a recent news video, we know that Isolde is actually the beast from all those years ago, the monster that Cube Whale knocked into outer space, and he's been reformatted by Genesis. So Cube Whale recognizes Isolde even though he looks so different. So I'm very excited to see how this ends up playing out. As for next week's episode, we see that basically Mario is going to be filled in on everything, and he becomes Zyuohger because, oh my god, that's a silly looking suit right there. I'm actually kind of excited for that because it's literally, he's wearing like a pink bicycle helmet and his face is just plastered right here. So I am absolutely excited to see that. That's a bit of silliness and humor that I think I'm going to be okay with. I think it's actually going to end up being kind of funny, but hey, we'll see what happens. So again, guys, that's about it for this week's episode. Again, objectively, it's not an amazing episode, but I have a soft spot for it because it was a sweet Christmas episode. So let me know what you guys think in the comment section down below. Did you like it? Did you hate it? Anything in between. As always, be sure to stay tuned for more great videos. We got a lot of stuff coming this week. We got toy reviews, all sorts of crazy stuff. I'm going to try to cram a bunch in because at the end of the week, I believe is Saturday New Year's Eve? I think it's Saturday. Whenever New Year's Eve is, I'm going to be putting up my top 10 toys of the year, as well as on the 1st of the month, we are going to be doing the Q&A finally. So if you have any more questions for me, go over to the 10K subscriber special video and leave your questions there. Again, guys, thank you so much for watching. Like, comment, and subscribe for more, and I will see you all soon with another video.